Everybody, we're just finishing up our summer season. Have a quick turnaround with tryouts next weekend for our fall program. I got Coach Adrian McCladdie with me here. Give us a little summer recap on how the summer was, Coach.
Summer was hot and long. You guys did a great job this summer. We kicked it off really June 4th at the prospect camp, and then I think we did not stop from there. I think most of the players actually played every weekend in June, and then only had one weekend off in July.
Right.
So players, y'all did a great job. Coaches all the way down from 14 to 18, they did a real good job. Coach McCladdie and Coach Peace with the 14u to 2029s.
Right.
They taught them just the fundamentals, all the other stuff that falls into it. They really were head on with these kids, and every time I saw those guys together, when Tony and Chandler would huddle them up, they would always kind of have their eyes on the coaches, and that's what I enjoyed. Going up to the 15U, Coach Rivers and Coach Jesse, they did a great job. They had a fluctuator groups, fluctuator ages.
Right.
They had kids that were freshmen. They had kids that were sophomores. They had a blend of talent, and a lot of those guys played. It was their first time kind of playing together.
Right.
And it was actually Rivers' first year with us.
Right.
And he got to know the kids very well, and they actually finished very, very high in the last three tournaments. So they played very well.
Yes.
And that went great. Then going up to Coach Orlando's team with Coach Hayes. They just finished up in the finals at Greenville. Look at that record, and we don't really talk about records or anything,
right?
But they won 19 out of 24 games. So,
right.
And that was a good group of all 27s. Orlando and John, they really, really hound in on what it takes to be a competitor and sacrifice, because a lot of kids had to sacrifice.
Right.
Some kids had to play another position. Some kids had to fill in here and there, and they did a good job. It was great. It was a great experience. Coach JP team, him and Emmanuel, he also had a blend of kids that were actually 16 and 17-year-olds, and did really well.
Played really well the last 3 weekends.
Last 3 weekends, and I applaud Coach JP on his leadership, and especially on how he communicates with the parents, communicates with the players, holds them accountable, and it's just a lot of feedback on them. I had the 17U team,
right.
All 17-year-old teams, and we had a really, really good summer. There was a lot of lessons learned about what college placement is about. There are a lot of concerns about why am I getting calls, why haven't I not being called, but I think we did a real good job as far as sending that message to those players, getting them ready for the fall, because now it's really time for those 26s to actually be getting communicated with the colleges, because all the transfer ports and all that. So that was good.
But Coach, a couple of things you talked about, and I know we have some questions that some parents are going to want to know about for our upcoming tryouts in our fall program. We teach the kids to compete and win every at-bat, every inning. At the same time, our program is about development. Our program is about the players becoming the best high school player they can be, and the guys that want to play at the next level. I think we had 18, 20, 25 kids commit to play college baseball out of 18. That's unheard of. So, if the parents 12 or 13 years old that want a trophy chase and they want to go win every tournament, we're just going to tell you straight up, that's not our goal. We're here to develop the players and to give them an opportunity to play at the next level. And we have a great track record of doing that the last 10 years. There's a learning curve for the players and the parents. But, when you mention the rosters, based on grad year and age, based on what players are going to get the most repetition, I think that we did a phenomenal job. You did a phenomenal job as a leader of our teams this summer. Went really, really well.
I think we put kids in the best environment to improve.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened.
And they got some great instruction. Speaking of good instruction, this fall we have a developmental program. We have 8 sessions set up for kids that's included in their package. It's going to be here. That'll be online. You can find it. I know Coach McCladdie made a great flyer with that information. That's something on top of their practices and games. Really for the ages 9 to 14. Yes. And then we already have a college showcase set up. I think there's like 14 colleges on there, which we have come to watch our 26 and 27 players. So we have a great fall program. Coach, tell us a little bit. We have tryouts. It's a quick turnaround in the fall. We have tryouts next weekend, August 2nd at 1337 Flowing Wells Road at EDS Field, Chris Ferdery Field. Tell us a little bit, and I know some parents have some questions. Once we have tryouts, full transparency of how we form those rosters, and I know that you like to start from the age 18 and work down.
So how I do it is We get all the players after tryouts, and it is tough for us to have tryouts and let these kids go out there and perform for one day and rate them and tell them they're going to be on this team and this team.
Right.
So basically, like I've said before, every time a kid plays in our program, their tryout is every season.
Correct.
So basically, the kids who were here in the summertime that played with us, we know what they can do.
Right.
It still doesn't change anything of team placement, but we do know what they can do and what's going to be better for them where they fit in. So yes, I do start at the top. So I start at the top, especially in the fall, because in the fall it's 18U.
Right.
Because those guys are seniors. And then we put the 18s and then we put the 17s down to when it gets tricky. So you have 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds. We have 14-year-olds that are probably ninth graders. You have 14-year-olds that are eighth graders.
Right.
You have 15-year-olds that are going to be 10th graders, and you have 15-year-olds that are going to be ninth graders.
Right.
And you also have 16-year-olds that could be juniors or could be sophomores. We put kids on teams where they can develop the most, get the most reps. Just put kids where we feel like they're going to get the most development and put them in an environment where they're going to get the amount of reps they need. For an example, I'm going to give an example. We have 15-year-olds coming in, okay? So some of those 15-year-olds are not really 15. They're probably 14 years old of age, but they're 15 years old because they're grade, their class.
Right.
But they could play with the 14-year-old team, but could play with a ninth grade team as well. The way we judge that is this kid was a catcher.
Right.
Well, if there is the class of 2029 guys, if there's 2 catchers already on that team,
right,
and then I have a younger guy who's on that same class,
right,
I probably wouldn't put that younger guy with the class of team because he could probably get more reps playing at his age.
Correct.
And sometimes it goes by skill level, but it also goes by availability. Because we're not going to cluster up so many kids at one position, then how they expect to get better.
Right. So the transparency and the clarity is we want to put the kids in the best situation to develop and to compete. At the end of the day, we're doing this for them to get an opportunity to play at the next level. That's what our organization is about, from ages 14 to 18, and the track record is there, right? So the last 10 years. Sometimes we may have a 14-year-old group or 15-year-old group where we have 2 or 3 teams. And some of the kids that we've had in the Major League Baseball draft or go to Division I, sometimes they run what would have been the 2nd or 3rd team. And it's all about because that player developed, their parents trusted the program. So after tryouts, we send invitations out. If a parent or a player is deciding whether they want to accept their invitation based on whether their buddy's on the team or not, this organization is not for you.
No.
Parents, if you want your kid to get the best opportunity to grow and mature and play as a baseball player, we're going to provide that. And I think that the parents need to know that. The letters we get from the players that graduate from us and the parents that experience that, but every year we have new parents coming in and we want to share that information with you.
And if you are new to CG and just coming in, just ask. We've been around this area for a long time. We've served a lot of kids. It's been going on almost 10 years, and we're still here.
Right.
There's been other programs. There's been other ways for your kid to get better. There is times where you want to go explore other options, but CG has never left. And we do. We welcome those kids. We welcome everybody, and I believe that this is the place for you if you want to get better mentally and physically, because we do with the effective feedback that we give to the parents,
right,
and the players.
Right.
We tell our coaches, we need to be honest.
Right.
We don't want to jump around honesty just for disappointment for the kids, because sometimes given that effective feedback,
they get better, right,
constructive feedback,
right,
they're going to get better.
And we've gotten better as an organization receiving constructive feedback.
Oh, for sure.
And that's something that we welcome. And before we get into the recruiting, and I want to let Adrian talk about that, Adrian does a great job. I've just touched on this. I played baseball all around the world. There's college coaches all around the country, especially the Southeast, that they reach out to Adrian whenever if they're interested in a player committing or not. As far as the recruiting that we have, like I say, on top of the youth development program, we already have one college showcase. I think there's 14 college coaches that are coming in August. That's included for our 26 and 27s. While there are good other programs, obviously, right? But what I've noticed talking to college coaches at the D1 and D2 level is, if the kid throws 99 miles an hour, obviously he's not going to have a problem getting recruited. But the kids that end up going to Division II, Division III, junior colleges, and then now with the transfer portal, that's a whole nother video that opens up doors for them to go to other colleges. The connections that you have personally and that I have myself with college coaches is a tremendous asset that the parents and players realize that now, being a part of the organization. So tell us a little bit about the recruiting process with the older groups.
A lot of colleges now, they just want to get better year by year.
Right.
It's kind of the high school kids are getting the short end of the stick. So a lot of kids these days they're trying to figure out why they're not being talked to, why they're not being signed, why nobody's here, why nobody's there. Well, this summer I put together probably one of the best showcase circuits I could put together, to the point where we did a random scrimmage triple header on a Sunday, and I invited 8 colleges.
Right.
But
Right.
we're here for those guys who get looked over.
Right.
I work tireless every day trying to find a spot for these kids, but the first thing kids got to understand, and parents, I believe you all got to understand too, is you're going to have to be conscious on what your child's ability is. Players, you're going to have to be conscious of where your ability stands. And whenever you're conscious enough and aware of it, it makes the recruiting process easier and the anxiety goes down.
Right.
And then the message that I'll be sending to you all, it won't look so negative. It'll just look more truth and more pure. That way it gives these players a better insight on where they need to go. This is what I can do for you.
Right.
Because I have relationships with pretty much every school in the Peach Belt, pretty much every school in the SoCon, every small school that you can think of that players look over.
Right.
There's a lot of schools in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama that a lot of players look over.
Right.
And my job is to make it aware, to those players and
Coach,
parents.
they don't look over it when it's their junior and senior year, right?
That's true.
What the parents, and like I said, 18 kids last year. I think it's over 100 kids that have committed, and we say that because if that's the player's goal, we're going to help make that happen. It's hard to play college baseball. And players realize that. It's hard to play Division II baseball. It's hard to play junior college baseball. And sometimes parents and players are unaware of that. They just think, if LSU doesn't work out, I'll go to a junior college. In college, professional scouts will tell you junior colleges are full of professional baseball players. So, if you're going to be a part of an organization to develop, and with the transfer portal, you want an opportunity to play at the next level, we're very confident in what we do. Adrian does a great job. I know that different college coaches that reach out, even players that don't play in our organization, the first thing they'll want to do is reach out to us and ask about them.
That happens a lot more than you think.
And Adrian mentioned this earlier, is the honesty. Not only with the players and players' parents, but that goes an extremely long way with college coaches. That's all they want. And players, if the honesty is you can't play at this level right now, that's not your final answer, right? You're going to continue to develop and get better. Some colleges recruit more on potential, and some colleges recruit right now. What can you do right now for us? And being able to look at a player's ability, their work ethic, their grades, and all of that stuff. We just feel like this is the best place for you to be, and the connections that we've had over the last 10 years give you that great opportunity.
A lot of connections. Shout out to the 2025 grads. I started with 18 to 20 of those guys, and I think 18 to 20 of them signed.
Right.
If that tells you anything.
Yeah.
And even there's some kids that didn't really play for our program, and I helped them. So, but yeah, we were 100% commitment rate for the 2025 grad class.
Right. And the college program we had this summer, it blends and bleeds into the high school recruiting because those coaches are out there in the transfer portal. It's actually just helped our high school recruiting even more.
Yep. Because
we had 5 teams in the college league this summer. I think at one point there was 12 kids that committed out of the college league. So it's extremely beneficial, the relationships that gives us with the coaches for high school kids. it was really fun this summer to see the high school and pro scouts at some of the games.
That was real cool to see.
Yeah, it was really good. Like I said, it was a long, hot summer, so for them to come out and look at players was really good. So real quick, Coach, tell us about tryouts this weekend. And then I know it's a quick turnaround of what it'll look like a week after that as far as players getting their invitations.
All right, so how it goes is, players will check in. Make sure y'all check in. You all check in almost 45 minutes before tryouts. After we run through every drill, we're going to run through the drills. All of the coaches, I'll probably have an eight coach panel. It'll be pretty much all of our instructors and coaches from Complete Game there. And then after tryouts are over, you will get a invitation. Now the invitation will let you know what team you're on, the schedule, the fees. It'll have the group meeting. It's going to have everything you need in one email.
Right.
When you get the invitation, this is the rule, parents. You do have 72 hours to make a decision.
Okay.
So you'll have 72 hours from the invite. So some players will get an invite the day of tryouts, probably about 4 or 5 hours after. Some players will get an invite on Sunday. Some will get an invite on Monday. Invites will be staggered. So if your friends or your family friends got an invite before your child did and you're wondering why, it's because we're doing staggered invites. So it has nothing to do with levels and everything. It's just how we send things out, right. And it's how we build teams. So we like to send invites out, and then when we get enough acceptance rates, then everybody else start getting theirs.
Right.
But it'll be all over each age group. So
right.
Parents, so after tryouts, you'll start looking for those invites. You'll get invites between Saturday and Tuesday.
Okay.
And also, there is a chance where you may get a message saying, we need you to come to a second tryout.
Right.
And that is in the Google Doc that they filled out, that it could be a potential second tryout. Right. Meaning, yes, you made the team, you made the program teams.
Right.
Now the next tryout is going to be for what team will actually put you on.
Right.
So all that will be explained in the email. Because we do have a quick turnaround, we start playing in the next 3 weeks.
Right.
Coaches got to gather their teams together. Players are starting school, and so forth. So
right.
That's how it's going to go. So parents after tryouts, look for a message within 24 hours.
And the other thing is, parents, before we let you go, is that we do tryouts twice a year every year. Yep. We do them in December or January for the summer. We do them in July or August for the fall. So like Adrian said, we are all always trying out. So the players that play this fall, it's 4 or 5 tournaments. The fall season is a little bit shorter. And then when you come try out in December for next summer, and which we don't start till after middle school and high school ball, but we already have a team set, everybody gets a chance to regroup. So you're never stuck in a certain situation. You're always developing and you're always getting better, and you're trying out twice a year. It's different from when they're younger, where they try out once a year and stay together. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for the staggered invitations. It's about players having the best opportunity to develop and get better and play at the next level. So,
like I said, we look forward for you guys coming out. We do have a great schedule ahead coming up. We do have some for the older guys for the 2026 class and the 27 class. We'll be actually going around campuses, scrimmaging other teams in front of scouts.
Right.
So, and that's a new thing that we're going to start gravitating to, is playing in front of schools and not just trying to go win a tournament. So,
right.
2026 guys, especially if you are interested in playing college baseball, this is the program for you. This is the season for you. It will be strictly recruiting based.
Yes.
We still want to develop, get ready for your high school team, but
right.
We're going to be strictly recruiting based.
Yeah, especially in the fall with the older guys.
Yes.
And something I'd like to add on that too, so parents know that aren't at our meeting in January. If we go to College Z to play in the scrimmage, parents and players, you're not just getting seen by that college coaches, right? The college coaches, it's a very small fraternity, all right? They all communicate. And we've had several players that have played at College Z and in College Y sign them.
Yep.
So it's a huge advantage. Like Adrian said, we're not just going to go play to win a tournament at that age. It's about being on college campuses and being shown those campuses by coaches. These college coaches have a great relationship with us. I know this summer you guys went to Anderson and had an unbelievable visit. Players got to see everything, the academic side, the weight room. And like Adrian was saying earlier, I'd like for the parents to know that, you know, if a player has goals in 9th grade, 10th grade, there are a lot of times the kids that end up they want to go play college baseball somewhere while they're getting an education. Now, if a kid just says, hey, my granddad went to Auburn and I want to go there, but I have an offer to play baseball at USC-Aiken, that's okay. We want to give you every opportunity to play wherever you wanted. So really confident in that. I appreciate everything that you do, Coach McCladdie. It's been a great summer. We're looking forward to a great fall. The organization continues to grow. We got a big list of people coming to tryouts, and we're real excited.
We are. Got over 150 kids.
Yeah.
So it's not even here yet. So guys, let's get ready. Let's go hit this. Let's
be ready. See you next weekend.
See you.